Hornets aren't semicircular like they are on the Hornet that's taxiing by now. They're squared off and angled back. Plus, look at the tail and look at the blinks. When you see a single blink, it's a classic or a legacy Hornet, an A or a C model. If it's a Super Hornet, they blink in three. So that's a way to tell them apart, even if you can't see them if it's a little dark. That's right. The reason we need to tell them apart is actually for landing on the ship, because the boat is also about 30% higher, whereas the Hornet will land about 34,000 pounds, the Hornet will land at 44,000 pounds. And you have to wait for it. Watch that, watching the body go on boasting a top speed of Mach 1.8 or nearly 1,200 miles per hour, the F-A-18 is capable of bringing a broad spectrum of both GPS and laser-guided bombs, as well as advanced air-to-air missiles to the fight. Possessing superb maneuverability, exceptional reliability, and a multitude of advanced combat systems, the F-A-18 is the world's premier carrier-based strike fighter. The F-A-18 first saw combat action in 1986 when Hornets from USS Coral Sea launched on suppression of enemy air defense missions against living air defenses as an integral part of Operation El Dorado Canyon. Since then, the F-A-18 has been the forefront of the war on terrorism, including and currently flying sorties in support of coalition troops in Operation Inherent Resolve, projecting combat power from the sea day and night. This highly versatile, combat-proven strike fighter, when paired with highly trained pilots and weapons system operators like these two airborne, make this platform among the most feared in the world. They, along with the dedicated sailors who work every day to ensure the fleet is ready for battle, stand ever ready to answer freedom's call in defense of liberty and to take the fight to the enemy anywhere. If you look to your right, you got the section of Omars. They'll be doing a high-speed section pass, it looks like.
What's so amazing is that back in the 1970s, when the Air Force needed a new airplane, there were two competitors. One was the YF-16 from General Dynamics. The other was the Northrop YF-17. It lost the competition. Let's watch and listen. YF-17 we thought was going to wind up in some obscure corner, a dark corner of some aviation museum, or turned into scrap. But the Navy needed something to replace the F-4s, and it had something that the YF-16 didn't have that Navy needed, and that was...
I believe you're referring to two motors.
Yes.
It's not obviously a requirement, but it is highly desired, especially by us that actually fly the aircraft.
Great insurance if one goes belly up, right?
Yeah, it's hard to land on a carrier dead stick for sure.
So the folks at Northrop got together with McDonnell Douglas, the company that had built the F-4 Phantom IIs that the Navy had for a number of years. They beefed up the landing gear and turned it into what has become a huge winner for the United States Navy. And when the Navy needed a replacement for aging F-14 Tomcats, they needed look no further than the proven design of the F-A-18 Hornet, and it became the Rhino, the Hornet's new Sting.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your left, you'll see another pass by the two F-18s.
right, get your cameras ready as the Omars work their way in. We're going to have a hot pass with pyro on this one.
Carrier-based naval aviators, apart from other pilots, is the fact that after every mission they must return to perform the difficult task of landing on the pitching deck of an aircraft carrier day and night, regardless of the weather. The skill, concentration, and simple grit required to conduct such a dangerous task under a 7-hour combat mission demands that only the very best are afforded the privilege of calling themselves carrier-based naval aviators. The naval aviators that are flying today will both have hundreds of carrier-arrested landings and have flown actual combat missions over the hostile skies of Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. Currently, they're to the north, trying to stay clear of the weather and come back for one final pass before we Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your right, the two fighting Omars are 5 miles for their final pass this morning.
Very disappointed that we couldn't see the air power demo, but no more disappointed than you and your crews.
That's exactly right. Commander McAllister, the commanding officer of BFA 105, who had put countless hours of work into prepping this air show to give you a good demonstration, is, I know, more bummed out than anybody.
But here comes the Skyband, and they are going to bring the flags in right in front as we thank the folks from Skydive Suffolk. You can head on over to their booth. You can learn about skydiving and check out some gear and register to win a free ticket to Skydive.
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Natalie. Nice job. Good to see you, ma'am. Is also being carried in his pack. So 2,000 feet is the minimum. We don't have that right now, and that's why Skydive Suffolk had to come in and land, and so graciously brought the Skyvan up here, and the team members all came out there with one of the American flags that they were going to jump in. So we are in a punting situation right now, trying not to go 3 and out and turn it over, but we may have to shuffle some things. So if we take some breaks like we're doing now, please understand it's not because we think it's fun to have a break. We want to keep it going, but watch this. As Commander Stinson told you, they are adversary aircraft. They are used with enemy tactics to fight against our Super Hornet and Hornet fighter pilots in the air-to-air maneuvering regime, and they fly tactics like our enemies would fly, and make it very, very realistic air combat training. USAA, we're going above for those that go beyond. Thanks again to Prevalence. They provide high-value professional services to a cost-conscious world. We help our clients visualize their future, simplify their challenges, maximize their profitability, and sustain their long-term success. Every year, Hall Automotive is in there bringing us great vehicles to drive as we travel around. Those of us who spend pretty much almost every weekend between March and November, we are at the mercy of what sometimes end up being pretty nasty cars. Every once in a while you get a bad one, but not with Hall Automotive. Thanks to Hall Automotive for giving us such great vehicles to drive.